Hello everyone. In the furthest corner of the prison's solitary confinement cell lived a peculiar inmate. Each day he climbed the walls, not to escape but to condition his body. While others rested, he lifted weights and practiced boxing. His relentless regimen included pull-ups, push-ups, and hauling the heaviest logs during labor. Even when it rained, he ran tirelessly to build endurance. This drive for strength stemmed from a profound hatred. Before his imprisonment, Kyle LeBlanc was a simple engineer with a loving wife. One evening, he received a frantic call from her voice trembling with fear. Rushing home, he found her lifeless in a pool of blood. The man responsible was apprehended and brought to trial, but justice was subverted. Bribes secured his freedom. Consumed by fury, Kyle seized a police officer's gun and shot the man dead in the courtroom, avenging his wife. This act of vengeance cost him dearly. Kyle was sentenced to life in a brutal prison notorious for its corruption and violent inmates. Upon arrival, the guards stripped him of his belongings. When he refused to relinquish his wedding ring, a guard savagely beat him and took it by force. The prison's hierarchy was maintained through violence, with factions vying for dominance. One inmate, Andre, thrived on cruelty, especially tormenting the weak. Kyle's cellmate, Billy, was a frequent target. One night, Billy's screams echoed through the cell block, haunting Kyle as he lay helpless. The following day, Kyle saw the battered Billy and Andre's smug expression. Memories of his wife's killer flooded back, and his rage boiled over. He attacked Andre, triggering a brutal fight. Guards broke it up, but they sided with Andre, throwing Kyle into the dark, filthy, solitary cell as punishment. This cell was a place of despair. The stench of sewage filled the air, and the bloodstains of a former inmate marked the walls. Each day brought a bowl of foul slop to eat, and Kyle was forced to sleep on a cold stone slab. Overwhelmed, he fashioned a rope from his prison uniform to end his life, but it snapped. Frustrated, he repeatedly slammed his head against the wall until he passed out. As he lay there, a moth fluttered in and landed near his bowl, as if urging him to eat and survive. The memory of his wife gave him the strength to endure. When he emerged from solitary, he was transferred to a new cell. It was nearly empty, save for one occupant, 451, a man rumored to have killed his previous cellmates. Kyle, fearing for his life, bribed the guards for a transfer, but they pocketed his money and left him with no choice but to adapt. The prison was divided into factions, each vying for control. Andre, the second in command of one group, also held the title of the prison's fighting champion. In this twisted place, death matches entertained the guards and lined the warden's pockets. Andre and his gang soon targeted Kyle. One day, they ambushed him during labor, brutally beating him while the guards watched. This relentless cycle of violence taught Kyle a harsh truth. In this world, strength was survival. He began training relentlessly, transforming himself through sheer willpower and pain. After months of grueling preparation, Kyle faced Andre in the arena. The fight was brutal. Andre dominated at first, landing devastating blows. But Kyle, fueled by rage and resilience, turned the tide, attacking with ferocity. In the final moments, Kyle bit through Andre's windpipe, killing him. The inmates and guards watched in stunned silence as Kyle, drenched in blood, roared like a beast. From that day, Kyle became the prison's new champion. His relentless fighting style made him both feared and respected. However, his cellmate Billy rejected this path. Desperate to escape, Billy made several attempts, but each ended in failure. One night, caught in the act, he was handed over to a sadistic guard who tortured him to death. Before he died, Billy's final words to Kyle were, "Don't become what they want you to be." Billy's death changed Kyle. When his next fight came, he refused to raise a fist, even as his opponent savagely beat him. The warden, enraged by this defiance, had Kyle hung on an iron frame, leaving him to wither under the elements until he complied. Yet Kyle's unyielding spirit inspired the other inmates. Slowly, they began to reject the violence, undermining the warden's cruel games. Unable to kill Kyle without creating a martyr, the warden released a monstrous inmate, a towering giant meant to crush him. But when the giant approached, something extraordinary happened. Kyle tapped on the iron door, a signal the giant recognized. The two had bonded through the walls of solitary confinement, communicating in secret. The giant, now Kyle's ally, turned against the guards, sacrificing himself to protect Kyle. The giant's defiance sparked a full-scale riot. Amid the chaos, Kyle reunited with 451, who revealed his true identity, a judge who had executed only the vilest criminals. He entrusted Kyle with a diary exposing the warden's corruption and devised an escape plan. Kyle's final fight in the arena would serve as a diversion. In this climactic battle, Kyle faced Billy's murderer. With unrelenting fury, he defeated and impaled his opponent. As expected, the warden ordered Kyle's execution. But in the chaos of the execution chamber, 451 intervened, helping Kyle escape with the incriminating evidence. Disguised in the warden's car, Kyle passed through the prison gates, finally free. Meanwhile, 451 sought justice in his own way, confronting the warden and exacting a brutal, poetic punishment. The prison's reign of violence ended that day. Kyle emerged not just as a survivor, but as a symbol of resistance, carrying the truth to expose the corrupt system that had consumed so many lives. Our movie recap ends here. If you subscribe, you can also watch my other movie recaps.